the hangover?
Oh dear, it's getting better. We're getting there. I've just been taking some milligrams and whatnot. 10 milligram Tweddle is back off from the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast on Friday. So we're good to go, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm good. Can we shout up from the podcast, by the way? I want to give some shout to John Eiley and Colonel XB, who heard the podcast and made
porn.
Oh, no, God. No, they didn't, thankfully. They made title cards and intros for Jake and the Snake, the detective series that we invented, and they are works of art. If you follow me on Twitter at Tom Campbell, I've retweeted them both there. They are amazing. Thank you both for that. And here is the wrestling news. A WWE SmackDown star is considered number one priority by the company. Find out who in moments. AEW are interested in a released Raw star, and that Impact Wrestling Against All Odds main event was pretty interesting. We'll tell you how they put it all together in a bit. It occurred to me the other day, how can he be the big dog and the head of the table? You're just not meant to have dogs at the table.
Dogs can go anywhere they like, Tom. There's that famous portrait where dogs are playing cards at a table.
That's what his family reunions look like. We are, of course, talking about Roman Reigns, who, according to WrestlingNews.co, is very much the focus of WWE's plans. They say Vince doesn't want to portray Roman as a cowardly heel who gets his bottom kicked 50% of the time. He's the guy who will carry the company for the next few years, and Vince sees him as his top priority. Protect Roman at all costs. That's from WrestlingNews.co, a report from them today. You certainly get the impression that Roman is being very much protected by WWE, don't you?
He's the one guy. Is he the one guy in the company today who just feels like a proper bona fide superstar? Back in the day, we had the people like Austin and Rock. I'm not saying on the same echelon as those people in the sort of historical context of the business, Tom. But I'm saying he's definitely a mile ahead of anybody else in WWE, just in terms of the way he's booked and the way he's presented and the way he feels when he comes on the screen.
There's an energy to him. I think, was it Roman that said that the conversations backstage have said, look, I'm either going to be the first person on the show each night or the last person of the night. I'm not going to be in the middle. And it's little touches like that are incredibly powerful and make him feel special. Having Paul Heyman there sort of guiding Roman Reigns' character and shtick, I think helps that as well. And he seems, as we've talked many times, like a lot of the big matches we talk about for SummerSlam and a lot of our big conversations about WrestleMania 38 and 39 all revolve around Roman Reigns. And he, as you say, the only guy in the company that seems like a big star. And you mentioned it there, and you put them in the same universe. I think a Roman Reigns Steve Austin feud in '98 would have been amazing if it was this Roman Reigns.
Just two people who, I was just about to say something that makes me sound like Jim Cornette. Two people who take the wrestling seriously. But that's just booked seriously, aren't they? There's no silly buggers with either Roman or Stone Cold back. Well, of course there was with Stone Cold, but at the very core of it, he was still a beer-drinking, bottom-kicking man, wasn't he? But it's that thing with Roman. It's just, there's no frills, there's no silliness that WWE like to sometimes go to with main event people. It's all just serious. It's all just being a smarmy, no-good son of a gun.
They nearly did. They could have done when they did that fake TV advert for that fake news report rather for WrestleMania, where everybody was playing different characters. They could have dropped into that, but they actually made a point to have Roman Reigns, aka Sonny McNuffin, shooting all of that down. And that was where I think we noticed sort of this change within the company, where they're like, you're not going to put, you're not going to put him in a funny cowboy hat and get him to play guitar. Like, Roman Reigns is there just to be a badass. No mucking around, no silly stick. Top priority by Vince McMahon, as it sounds. One of Roman's old enemies, Braun Strowman, may have a new home very soon. So there was some stories over the past week of Braun Strowman's asking price, which he has neither confirmed nor denied. But big money if you want to book Roman Reigns for your birthday party, Ross. Just a heads up.
It's his agent confirmed, didn't it? Was it PW Insider who spoke to his agent, who doubled down saying it's between $20,000 and $25,000 if you want Braun Strowman for your birthday party.
But there is one person who has the money to invite Braun to a birthday party, and that would be Tony Khan. And TMZ Sport were having a conversation with Mark Henry, and they revealed that Braun Strowman is somebody that is being considered. According to Mark Henry, Braun Strowman is super high on my list. It's not an all Mark Henry decision, but there's already interest on both sides. Hopefully, by the time he's allowed to wrestle in August, I think the middle of August, then we could have a serious conversation about contractual things of that nature. But right now, there's interest on both sides. I love that dude. If Adam Scher does make the switch, I'll have to go by a different name. He'll have to go by a different name because WWE holds the rights to Braun Strowman, but it's a small sacrifice to fans who want to see him back out there. Braun Strowman in AEW, Ross, what do we think?
It doesn't feel like it fits, does it, when you just say Braun Strowman in AEW? I don't know if that's just because obviously he was homegrown in WWE. A lot of his booking down the years was very like sports entertainment, WWE, stuff all the way down the line. AEW, I know they try and market themselves as an alternative to WWE, but they are just as sports entertainment as WWE is, so maybe he does fit. But I just think of the roster, and apart from Lance Archer, maybe he just towers over everybody.
It would shut everybody up, wouldn't it, if a big lad like Braun Strowman rocked up, like especially like a Lance Archer. I feel like it would diminish Lance Archer and the guys to an extent to have Braun there. But yeah, it's whether or not he's a fit, and it feels a lot of people have said, look, you've got to hire Braun Strowman because he's money, and yeah, but I don't know whether at this point in time he would fit in AEW personally.
He'll have the feud maybe against Lance Archer as a good starting point. Two big sweaty men slapping all kinds of big sweaty meat. But where do you go from there? Because as you say, like I know size isn't everything in the professional wrestling, but he is completely just a different man, isn't he, to everybody else just about on the roster. It's a weird thing. It just doesn't feel like it fits to me. I could be proven wrong. We probably will be proven wrong, Tom. That's how it goes in this YouTube game. You say something, then you're proven wrong.
Staying with AEW for this one, our final story, we're looking at Impact Wrestling Against All Odds. You know what? They put on a heck of a show on Saturday night. You can watch it back on Impact Plus. Some standout performances in there, and a really unique main event that saw the Impact World Championship defended by Kenny Omega against Moose at AEW's home base, Daly's Place in Jacksonville. And it was in front of people. There were people there. There was a run-in from Sami Callihan, who'd wrestled in the first match in Nashville. It's a 2.5-hour drive, so he must have put pedal to the metal to get there. But this was a really strong match, and Fightful have given us some details about how they put it together. Haven't they, Ross?
Yeah, it was actually filmed last weekend around the AEW Dynamite tapings at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. So there we go.
The report added that several Impact wrestlers didn't even know that the title match was even taking place and had even been filmed already. So they kept it really close to their chest, because I thought if they're going to film I thought they were going to film this at Dynamite this past Friday. I thought that's going to be difficult for people to keep, to keep quiet on. If you're going to make it as your main event of a pay-per-view, you are running a risk in this day and age, somebody tweeting that out there. But it looked as if the crowd was comprised of numerous wrestlers or invited guests, maybe signing NDAs to stop that from getting out. But it was really good fun, and we're setting up for something between Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega for Slammiversary 2021. What's your rest of the day looking like, Ross? That's all our news for right now. Let's jazz. What's the rest of the day looking like for you?
Let's jazz like Dave Meltzer. So we'll
jazz like Dave Meltzer.
I'm going to do another voiceover script today, and then I've got a Straight to Hell to shoot later on tonight and watch some of the wrestling, because I made the mistake of not watching either SmackDown or AEW over the weekend. So I've got to catch up on the wrestling before the podcast on Friday.
Can you give us any clues as to who the Straight to Hell is? Oh.
What's that thing? Join us. That one.
Give it one more time for those in the back that missed it.
Join us. Not a Cultaholic Join Us, though, by the way. They're different Join Us.
That's right. It's Owen. More news as we get it at cultaholic.com throughout the day. And why not test your wrestling knowledge on the quiz section? Can you name all the Impact World Heavyweight Champions? Try it right now at cultaholic.com. And we'll see you later. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.
Join us.